Alright, well, we're back with the hybrid. My 2013 Honda Civic. Picked up out of a junkyard auction. And we're right at about 230, just under 233,000 miles with it today. And so I've put about 5,500 miles on it so far, and it has been excellent. Doing everything I want it to do, probably overall averaging right at about 50. I took one long trip with it to Houston and back to watch some drag racing with my dad, and that whole trip at the speed limit with the air conditioner, sitting in a line for an hour with the air conditioner running to get into the place one day. I think I averaged 45 miles to the gallon on that whole trip. Fantastic. No issues. I just gave it a little check. All the oil lubes are doing good. Snugged up the battery connectors a little bit because they were just a touch loose. Radiator's maintaining coolant level since I refilled it. No issues there. AC still works. I don't use it much though because it gets much better gas mileage without it. But she's doing great. And it's actually going full Christine on me and starting to fix itself. There were a couple of problems with it when I got it that I didn't fix because it wasn't terribly necessary, and one of them was really expensive. So when I first got it, this window didn't work. And since I've started driving it, it works. So great. I don't know whether it was just a little connection issue or what, but that started working again. The other issue was this tail light, and I showed this in a couple of other videos. This top light pipe was not lighting up, and that's a special, hybrid only, of course. And they're about, you can't find them in the junkyard, and they're about 350 bucks from a dealer. But I noticed last week that it started working again. Yay! So that's nice. So now all the lights work. So fantastic. The only thing I'll say I'm disappointed in, and it's kind of silly, is, whoops, so I'll have to pull the seat to find those, but I have not been successful at getting 700 miles out of a full tank yet. I've gotten 692, but the last 20 miles of range indicated on this thing, and then especially the last 10, are not real. When it gets down to 10 miles left, no matter what you do, you've got about 2 miles before it's at zero. And I've run it a few miles past zero, getting to a station, and it took over 13.5 gallons to fill it, and it's only got a 13.5 gallon tank. So I don't want to push it that hard once it goes to zero. And so that's the only disappointment, is I'm really trying to get a 700 mile tank out of it, driving it in the manner that I do. But one of the things that with these cars is aero is pretty important. And this is about as straight and square as I can make it. You know, I fixed the spoiler and whatnot. It does tend to suck up a lot of dirt onto the back. You know, you can definitely see where it pulls dust up in here. So there's a negative pressure area behind the car. But I don't know that I'm going to go full body kit and fair everything in and do all of that. But what I do know is that it's missing the under tray that's supposed to be under the engine and transmission. That was not on it when I got it. It looks like it was ripped off at some point, probably by the auction, but who knows. This thing's got a lot of miles on it. So I have procured an under tray. Brand new, straight from Honda, about $330 with shipping. And we're going to just put that on there, see if we can figure it out. It looks like it's got about 10 main fasteners around it. And then these key slot things that I don't understand. But we'll figure that out hopefully when we get under there. It's got 2 little hatches on it. One, I'm guessing that's for your oil filter. I'm not quite sure what that back hatch is for, but that back part is hinged. And you take some screws out and it hinges down. And we're going to get under there, jack this thing up, get it on some stands, and see if we can figure out how this is supposed to go. And see if that is just enough to get me my extra 1% that I need to get a 700 mile tank. And if not, it'll at least protect the engine in the water and stuff that we get down here from getting a lot of stuff splashed up in areas it really, really shouldn't be when we're driving along. So we're going to get this thing on some jack stands, get underneath it and see what we can find. Alright, I think I figured out how this goes. These 4 attachment points go up in here. This is a chunk of it that's left right here underneath this front air dam. So this piece is missing its corner. That piece is shredded. That bolt is bent. So I gotta get this loosened up back here so that I can get those slipped up underneath and get some attachment points going on in here, and then we will see what else we can come up with. I may need to rob a few fasteners from this front one for now to get this in place, because some of them are missing altogether. And once we get that up there, yeah, that makes sense, because this big flapper, that's for changing your oil and changing your transmission fluid, changing your engine oil. And the back one, actually, that's metal, because that goes right under the exhaust. That is right under the cat, so that's kind of neat. So that gets rid of all of this sloppy crap if I can figure out how to get this thing put in. So we're going to go get a tool, try to pull out the last couple of these, see what I can do over here, and see what we got. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ooh, it's kind of chewed up. There's the broken piece. Yeah, that's broken. I got a bunch of different type of clips, so we'll be able to see what we got. Not exactly sure. I think that used to go in this hole, kind of like this over here. That's definitely got hooked by the fork truck. I'm gonna have to see if I can get that out, maybe hammer that flat and see what we can do. So I'm gonna go get a 10mm and see if we can pop that out. That actually worked out pretty good, even though the plastic is all farkled up. I was able to get the other chunk out of it, and it only bent the screw. Luckily, it didn't break it off, so the hole is still there. So if I can find a fastener that'll work in there, we can get that attached. So this will go something like that. So now I gotta go find some fasteners to see what I can use to stick that thing up there. Alright, well, we got it temporarily attached in the front. It's gonna need a little bit of work. And then I borrowed a couple of fasteners from up here and hooked it up in the back. And what I noticed is this was taken off prior to the auction, because the rear is actually held up by these 4 10mm bolts. That one being loose. That hold that other part up. So this goes up here like that, and those bolts are supposed to be holding it in. So this was taken off, I think, prior to the auction. It probably got ripped up at some point. And there's a couple of more push-in fasteners that go there. But that rear is held up with 4 screws on the frame or on the body already. So we're going to take a look at those. And we're just about done. I'm going to have to come up with some new fasteners for up here, because I don't really have any that are big enough to fill those holes. But I'm probably going to take the ones out of this front air dam, rock as best possible, and use those to attach the rest of these as good as I can. Maybe put another screw in over here, because that's just kind of a hack job, because this screw was broken off most likely by, you know, whatever they hit at that, you know, at whatever point. But yeah, it kind of looks like, yeah, this was cut at some point, because I think it used to have a little vent like this that matched up. That's my guess, to draw some more air in. But I don't think that'll be too bad. But yeah, we're getting there. She's looking a lot cleaner now. And again, I think that's going to protect the engine and stuff from a lot of water intrusion. So I'm going to go grab my 10mm, bust those 4 bolts off in the back, pop that thing up there, and then find some pins, get it fully reattached. Alright, so she's on. Doesn't look too bad. Not too floppy. Well, I'll be interested to see if it actually makes any noise. It shouldn't. I did find I borrowed fasteners from other places to get those stupid little pop pins to be correct, and put some alternative ones in areas where they're not as critical to hold something off the ground. But yeah, so that does clean up the bottom of that front end a whole bunch, and so I am kind of interested to see what that does, if anything, to the economy. But yeah, so far it looks pretty good. So that's about it. Everything's running good on this thing. She's really running like a champ, and hopefully it keeps it up. We'll keep you posted. So hope you're all having a good day. Take care.